Good morning, everyone. So let's start today's editorial session. Before that, as usual, we always have one thought of the day. So it's about every day may not be good, but there is something good in every day. So yeah, it's all about positive thinking. According to me, we should be positive. Like if some day is so worst, even though something good behind that, we just try to find what's the good lesson we get from that day. So yeah, every day is good. We just try to explore it, try to learn anything. Okay, so let's go to today's editorial. It's about no compromise on putting pressure on ATC official. Air safety is paramount and politicians should not be allowed to pressure ATC official. So what paramount meant? Paramount is most important. So this is one new vocab we get here. So air safety is most important. So not any politician should be allowed to pressure on ATC official. Okay, so why author is talking about that politicians should not be allowed to pressure on ATC official? Because there's something happen. We will understand that later, like what will happen actually and why this what this editorial is about. Okay, so let's go to the paras, then we'll understand it completely. Okay, so the incident on August 31st, where in two BJP members of parliament, Nisikant Dubey and Manoj Tiwari, and their entourages are alleged to have forcibly obtained takeoff clearance close to sunset from the air traffic control of Deoghar Airport in Jharkhand for their flight in is a case of tail scraping established air safety norm. Okay, here we have the picture of these two patients who are the BJP members of parliament. One is Nisikant Dubey, other one is Manoj Tiwari. I think you guys mostly aware of Manoj Tiwari and Nisikant Dubey too. So what happened? They forcefully like allow ATC. What is the full form of ATC? Air Traffic Control at Deoghar Airport in Jharkhand. So their Deoghar Airport in Jharkhand, they uh, the Nisikant Dubey, Manoj Tiwari, and their entourage. So what entourage mean here? Entourage means a group of people who travel with an famous person. So we know Nisikant Dubey and Manoj Tiwari, they are BJP members of parliament, so they are famous. So the people who travel with them are known as entourage. They are alleged to have, alleged means like claim. Okay, they forcibly obtain takeoff clearance. So yeah, there's something happened because they reached the airport very late after sunset. They reach, and because of there are some rules like after sunset takeoff of takeoff will not happen, but they forcibly obtain takeoff clearance close to sunset, after sunset from the air traffic control at Deoghar Airport in Jharkhand. And their flight is a case of tail scraping established air safety norm. And what tail scraping means? It means which occur when an aeroplane tail contacts the runway during takeoff or landing. So I think you guys get the idea about that. Like this is the incident of 31st August, where two BJP members of parliament, Nisikant Dubey and Manoj Tiwari, and his and entourage, the group of people who travel with him, are alleged, are claim. They get that allegation that they forcibly try to take off clearance from ATC at Deoghar Airport in Jharkhand. Okay, so let's go to the next para. The politicians, they were in the state to meet the family members of a minor girl in Dumka who had been set ablaze by a stalker on August 23. So, why they visited that place? Why they went to that Deoghar airport in Jharkhand? Actually, what's the reason behind this? These two politicians, they went to meet if the family members of a minor girl in Dumka who had been set ablaze by a stalker. So, stalker means what? A stalker means a person who follows or watches somebody for a long period of time. So someone following her, and she got ablaze by that stalker. I think that stalker tried to bind that girl. So that's why they bind that girl on August 23. So these two politicians tried to visit that girl on 31st August. Are reported to have reached the airport at around 5:25 p.m. Okay, and they reported that Deoghar Airport around 5:25 p.m. to fly back to Delhi on a uh, chartered twin engine business jet. So this is the jet where they fly back to Delhi. It's chartered twin engine business jet based on complaints by the airport security in charge and the deputy commissioner of Deoghar. The allegation is that the ATC was coerced into allowing the flight to depart. So what coerced means, it's like uh, unwillingly they allowed that in the what happened actually, they reached the airport around 5:25 p.m. and they have to fly back to Delhi. They will go to Delhi and via one two-engine business jet, and best they have that complaint from airport security as well as in charge of deputy commissioner of Deoghar. Uh, they have that allegation that ATC was coerced into allowing the flight to depart after sunset, which is not allowed actually. There's some rule after sunset in Deoghar airport, takeoff are not allowed, but they did that. These two politician did that. That's why they had some allegation. They had affair as well, resulting the Jharkhand police registering an affair against the MPs and the others. The others means those entourages, the group of people who travel with these two MPs. Okay, so let's go to the next para. Various sections of the Indian Penal Code, such as endangering life or personal safety, have been applied. Mr. Dubey, in turn, filed an affair in Delhi against the Deputy Commissioner and the Jharkhand Police, which includes Bizarrely. They're being booked under Section 124A sedition. So what we came to know from previous paras that there's a affair filed against these two MPs on various sections like according to Indian Penal Code, such as endangering life or personal safety. Yeah, if that they travel after sunset from Deoghar to Delhi, there's some danger for bats and all, or maybe there's some problems related to safety as well. So they get those allegations and affair filed against them. After that, what happened? Mr. Dubey, that means Mr. Nisikant Dubey, in turn filed an affair in Delhi. So when he reached Delhi, Mr. Dubey again files an affair against the deputy commissioner and the Jharkhand police, which include bizarrely. So what bizarrely means? It means something that is very odd or strange. It seems like strange, right? But there's not any fault of those and Mr. Dubey filed an affair against that. They're being booked under section, and section of that FIR is 124A sedition. Okay, so let's go to the next para. While violent crimes increased, the charge-sitting rate fell from 75.8% in 2020 to 72.3% in 2021. Here, that mention about here in this para mention about the size setting rate fell from 75.8% to 72.3% from in 2020 to 2021 because violent crimes increased, as did the it is further point 3 under en route 1.2 visual flight rules states that VFR flights shall not be operated between 20 minutes after sunset to 20 minutes before sunset. So we should note that under en route 1.2 visual flight rules, that means VFR, according to those VFR flights rules, there are some rules uh, flights shall not be operated between 20 minutes after sunset to 20 minutes before sunrise. So there's a rule like flight cannot operated or take off before 20 minutes of sunrise and after 20 minutes of sunset, except when exempted by air traffic control for local flights. But for some local flights it's allowed, but there's some they choose those like for which these are allowed, but that flight via which travel those MPs, that flight not allowed to take off. The principle being that the airfield should be available in the event of an emergency after takeoff under VFR conditions. So VFR means visual flight rules. So according to some conditions of VFR, uh, the airfield should be available in the event of an emergency after takeoff. It must be noted that sunset at Deoghar was at 6:03 p.m. So the sunset happened or occurred at Deoghar around 6:03 p.m. and the flight left at 6:17 p.m. So it's like they're trying to violate the rules. So that's why there's some allegation or affair against these two MPs. Okay, so let's go to the next pair. The difficulties the crew could have faced at such an airport in the event of an emergency, such as a bite hit and engine failure, do not have to be elaborated. So, in this para, also trying to mention the difficulties which could happen, which where some probabilities of this incident could be happen if emergency takeoff of flight will occur, or this there are some issues could be happen if something like after sunset, if any flight take off, then there are some issues should be happen like such as a bite hit or engine failure. Maybe it could hit a bite, or maybe the engine could be fail, do not have to be elaborated. There's a lot of thing could be happen which is not like which is not can be elaborated because there's a lot. Avian life is active at twilight. So avian life means bird life. I mean here avian means a bird is active at twilight. So what twilight means? Twilight is the time after the sun has set and before it gets completely dark. Okay, after sunset, when the time is like before it could completely dark, that time is mentioned as twilight. And Jharkhand is known to be bird rich spot, and Jharkhand is rich for bird. I mean, there's a lot of bird in Jharkhand. Other airports in the region available for a diversion are not close either, and other airports are also not that close to Jharkhand, Deoghar airport. So yeah, these are some difficulties mentioning by the author in this para. Okay, so let's go to the next para. Additionally, to have one of the politicians who is part of a committee constituted by the Ministry of Civil Aviation attempting to push the boundaries of safety is unacceptable. So one of the politician of this two MP who is the part of the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and if he attempts such things, then it's really unacceptable. At least he should think about the bad and all, right? So, but he didn't think. So it's completely unacceptable. The episode also highlights the pressure faced by air traffic controllers and officials, especially in small airports in India. So the episode, I mean, this incident is mentioned as episode here, also highlights the pressure faced by air traffic controllers and officials. So after that incident, we came to know one thing, like if someone uh, pressurize air traffic controllers and official, it's especially in small airports of India, it's really not good. Okay, so let's go to the next para. As a member of the International Civil Aviation Organization and bound by its stringent rules, India must ensure that directives are followed and that there is a thorough and fair probe with penalties. So, in this para, also trying to mention, like as a member of International Civil Aviation Organization, India is the member of International Civil Aviation Organization, and it's also bound by some rules. So we should ensure that directives are followed. Okay, the rule, whatever related to those ATC, those airlines, it should be followed, and that there is a thorough and fair probe. So fair probe means like examine something uh, clearly with penalties by the Directorate General of Civil Aviation and the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and they should give the penalties. I mean, whoever break the rule, there are some penalties for them, and it could be given by Directorate General of Civil Aviation and the Ministry of Civil Aviation. The politics should be fenced off, and those all about I mean, here the author is told about politics. Okay, politics should be fenced off. So what fence means, fenced off is like usually we use those fence and all to like to separate an area, with a fence in order to stop people or animals from entering it. So whenever we fence up one area, like after that no one can enter on that area. It could be animal or it could be people, no one can enter. So politics also should not be entered on those things. I mean, if there's some rule, it should be followed by everyone. Okay, so this is all about today's editorial. So is there any question, or now this we can discuss tone of editorial? Yeah, so who would like to tell us about the tone of editorial?
Critical.
Yeah, because criticizing. Okay, Yeah, here criticizing of these two MPs happen. So yeah, we can say critical. And anyone else who would like to put their points or any question, or is it understandable or not? I mean, whatever I explain. So you guys got an idea after listening that? I think deleted account you were from very beginning. So can you please tell me, do you understand or not?
Yeah,
You there?
yeah, I understood.
Okay. Okay then. This is all about today's editorial, and please don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel, English Learner. And one more thing, we will upload this editorial in YouTube as well. Like the patient who didn't listen from very beginning, they can listen it or watch it in YouTube as well. And one more thing, yeah, thanks a lot to all the participants who participate our editorial session. So this is now it's time to conclude editorial session.